Chapter 27. Now when it was decided that we should sail to Italy, they delivered Paul and some other prisoners to a centurion named Julius of the band of Caesar. And having gone on board a ship to Adramyttium, which would navigate along the districts of Asia, we set sail with Aristarchus, a Macedonian of Thessalonica. Then the next day we came to Sidon, and Julius treated Paul kindly and gave him liberty to go to his friends and receive care. From there we set sail. We sailed by Cyprus, because the winds were contrary. Then we sailed along the seacoast of Cilicia and Pamphylia, and came to Myra of Lycia. And there the centurion found a ship of Alexandria sailing to Italy, and he put us on it. But sailing slowly for many days, and barely having come over against Cnidus, because the wind withstood us, we sailed close to the coasts of Crete beside Salmon. And barely coasting along, we came to a place called Fair Havens, near to a city called Lasea. But when much time had passed, and the voyage being already dangerous, also because the fast had already passed, Paul exhorted them, saying, Men, I perceive that this voyage is about to be met with disaster and much loss, not only of the cargo and of the ship, but also of our lives. But the centurion was persuaded more by the steersman and the shipowner than what Paul had spoken. And the port being unfavorable to winter in, the majority counseled to set sail from there, so that they might be able to arrive at Phenice, a port of Crete which serves to the southwest and northwest, to winter. When the south wind blew gently, supposing that they achieved their purpose, they weighed anchor and coasted close by Crete. But not long afterward arose a hurricane wind, called Euroclydon. But when the ship was caught and could not be brought around, we let her go and were driven along. And we came to a small island named Clauda, and we were hardly able to become masters of the boat, which they took up and used helps, undergirding the boat, fearing lest they should have fallen into quicksand. They let down the gear, so they were driven. The next day, when we were violently tossed with a storm, they cast out all the cargo. And the third day, we cast out with our own hands the tackling of the ship. And seeing neither sun nor stars for many days, and no small tempest laying on us, all hope was taken away that we should be saved. Then after there had been a long abstinence, Paul stood up in the midst of them and said, Men, you should have been obedient to me, and not set sail from Crete to have gained this disaster and loss. And now I exhort you to be of good cheer, for there shall be no loss of any man's life from among you, only of the ship. For there stood by me this night an angel of God, whose I am, whom I serve, saying, Fear not, Paul, for you must be brought before Caesar. And behold, God has given to you all that sail with you. Therefore, men, be of good cheer, for I believe God that it shall be even as it was told me. But we must run aground onto an island. But when the 14th night had come, and we were being driven about in the Adriatic, toward the middle of the night, some of the sailors supposed we were nearing some country. And having sounded, they found 20 fathoms. And when they had gone a little further, they sounded again, and found 15 fathoms. Then fearing lest they should have run upon some rocky places, they cast 4 anchors out of the stern, and wished for the day to come. But the sailors, desiring to flee out of the ship, had let down the boat into the sea, with the excuse that they would have cast out anchors from the bow. Paul said unto the centurion, Except these abide in the ship, you cannot be saved. Then the soldiers cut away the ropes of the boat and let it fall. Now until day was about to come, Paul encouraged all of them to have some food, saying, This is the 14th day that you have been watching and continued without food, having taken nothing. Therefore I appeal to you to take some food, for this is for your safety. For there shall not fall a hair of the head from one of you. And when he had said these things, he took bread and gave thanks to God in the presence of them all, and broke it and began to eat. Then also all of them became cheerful, and they also took food. We were all together in the ship, 276 souls. And when they had eaten and were satisfied, they lightened the ship and cast the wheat into the sea. When it was day, they did not know the land, but they perceived a bay with a shore, which they proposed to try to drive the ship onto. But when they had cut away the anchors, they committed themselves to the sea, at the same time loosing the bands of the rudders and hoisting the foresail to the wind, they made for the shore. But falling into a place where two seas met, the vessel ran aground, and the bow stuck hard, remaining unmovable. Then the stern was broken by the violence of the waves. Then the soldiers' counsel was that the prisoners should be killed, lest any of them escape by swimming away. But the centurion, desiring to save Paul, kept them from their plan and commanded those being able to swim to cast themselves overboard first and go for the land. And the others he commanded to go, some on boards and some on things from the ship. And so it came to pass that they were all brought safely to the land.